What's up guys, Artem MMA Analysis here, going to be talking about PFL 2022 number 2 regular season, and once again I can't wait. This is taking place on April the 28th, which is a Friday for me. Unfortunately I do work Friday, so I'm probably going to miss the card, to be honest with you guys, which sucks, but we've got 10 fights in the heavyweights and featherweights division. It seems like no one else is really talking about the PFL regular season this year, apart from me so far, which is I guess relatively exciting. I'm gonna just quickly kind of run over this card. There's not too many roster changes to last year, but we do have some exciting fighters on there, such as Asayev, 2019's champion. We've also got a couple of good interesting debuts. I mean, Boston Salmon, former UFC fighter, fighting another former UFC fighter, Shaman Moris. Henan making an appearance. I mean, you guys probably know Henan from when he fought oh, the name has slipped my mind, but he did fight someone. Fabricio Werdum. He fought Fabricio Werdum in that fight that unfortunately didn't quite go to plan. It was a no contest in the end because of a controversial tap. Ante Delisia, I mean, I believe he's a finalist from last year. We've got Brendan Lofton as well. I believe he's a finalist from last year. And Bruno Capaldi, your winner from last year, fighting Stewart Austin, who's like 7 losses and 7 KO losses. And Bruno Capaldi has like 13 KO wins. So I'm telling you guys right now, Bruno Capaldi is going to win by KO, for sure in my opinion. But Alejandro Flores versus Salva, Baloguni to start up the card. I'm going to be honest, and I will not lie. Not actually too sure about either of these guys. Alejandro Flores did lose to Rafael Alves on the Contender Series about a year and 7 months ago. And since then, he's actually been very active, and I can respect that. And I'm glad that he's kind of made it to a big promotion, because he does have a great record, 20-3, fighting Salva Baloguni, who also has a decent 14-2 record against decent levels of competition as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see like how this kind of works out. Salva Baloguni's last fight was at 155, and this fight is taking place at 145. I mean, it's a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight to call. I'm not going to give you a confident pick right now, but I will just be going with Flores at the moment, because he's already fought in the PFL before. He's got more professional experience as well. And he's fought a UFC caliber guy and Rafael Alves before. I know that for sure. Boston Salmon versus Shaman Moris. Okay, so 2 former UFC fighters. Shaman Moris went on a losing streak, including a loss to Sadiq Youssef and Andre Fili. 2 not bad losses to have on your record, to be honest. And then he lost to Brendan Lofton. I mean, that happens, you know. Brendan Lofton's great, so no real shame in that. And since then, he has won twice in the PFL last year, so good for him. Boston Salmon, on the other hand, won on their Challenger Series, or Dana White's Contender Series for PFL, I guess you could call, of Do Guam Lee. He won that fight, but before that, he did win his fight by DQ, I guess, after the getting cut from the UFC from 2 KO losses. Prior to that, he did win on Dana White's Contender Series, but took like a year and a half off in between that time. So I'm going to be going with Moris. I feel like he has fought a bit of competition, especially in the last 5. He's on a 2-fight win streak, which is good. And I think that he's also, I mean, he's got the momentum going from him as well, I guess. But I'm going to be on with Shaman Moris, just kind of level of competition, really. But we'll see. Maybe Boston Salmon shows up. Ali Asayev. Now, this is a hard fight to call. We've got Ali Asayev, the winner of 2019 PFL season. He won the $1 million back in 2019. Beat Jared Rosholt, beat Denis Goldstov, and a couple of other guys, including my boy Carl Sayer Money Tougher, and that guy. As for Clayton, former UFC fighter, unfortunately just hasn't quite found too much success. I mean, he had a no contest to Jamaal about 2 years ago. After that, he fought Jamaal Jones and got ground and pounded out. I mean, if you get ground and pounded out by Jamaal Jones, I think you're going to get ground and pounded out by Ali Asayev. I mean, Ali Asayev hasn't fought for 2 years and he's 38, so potentially Clayton could pull something off, but I'm just going to be going with Asayev right now. Alright, Sam K, fighting out of Tonga. Big respect to Sam K. Tonga, unfortunately, has been going through a very rough time over the past year or so with tsunamis, so hopefully he is all good, and it seems like he's all good, man, but he's fighting at heavyweight. His last fight was taking place at light heavyweight. I don't know how I feel about this move. Maybe he's bulked up and put on a lot of weight and he's going to show up. But if he's fighting at light heavyweight and he's fighting a 250-pound Russian wrestler, I really don't know how I feel about his chances in this one here. He does have KO power on the feet. There's no doubt about that in my mind. But Denis Goldstov is an animal, man. He's been in the PFL for quite a while now, and he has beaten and lost to some of the better fighters in the in the PFL for sure. I do think we're going to see Denis Goldstov probably take over this fight, but Sam K is, I mean, he's probably a live dog in other fights, but unfortunately I will not be picking him to win this fight. 205-pound fighter fighting a 250-pound heavyweight, especially a Russian guy who's probably going to choose to wrestle him. I mean, I don't really like those odds. I'm going to be picking Denis Goldstov. Hopefully Sam K can maybe get a 205-pound fight in the UFC and in the PFL, I mean. But we'll see what happens there. Bubba Jenkins versus Sunbin Joe. Sunbin Joe, former UFC fighter again. He actually only had one fight in the UFC. He lost to David Tamor. I'm actually not too sure why he only ended up having one fight. I might have to research that. And then he lost to Tyler Diamond, I believe a former The Ultimate fighter in the PFL. But he still signed to the roster. And prior to that, he was 9-0 with wins over relatively decent levels of competition. Bubba Jenkins, finalist for last year, lost to Chris Wade by decision. But he is very, very good wrestling. He's got elite wrestling. I do think that we're probably going to see Bubba Jenkins utilize some elite wrestling over Sunbeam Joe. I'm picking Jenkins, ground and pound KO or decision. Most likely a decision here by wrestling. Lance Palmer versus Chris Wade. I'm not too sure on either of these guys, but I do know that Chris Wade has been in the PFL for a while, and I think Chris Wade was the finalist and Bubba Jenkins was a semi-finalist, Chris Wade. Oh man, I cannot talk to save my life, but he was the finalist. Sorry about that, guys, but he's getting older. He's 34 years old. As for Lance Palmer, decent record as well, 22-5, 2-fight losing streak to Mavlid Kabuliev and Bubba Jenkins. Chris Wade has lost to Mavlid Kabuliev, but beaten Bubba Jenkins. If you wanted to try some MMA math on that one, we've just picking Chris Wade with not a lot of confidence, I guess. I mean, it seems like a lot of people are on Palmer. I can respect that, but he hasn't won a fight in over 2 years. As for Chris Wade, won a fight 7 months ago. So I don't know, man. Let's see how it goes. I'm not gonna give you a confident pick whatsoever on that one, to be honest. As for the next one, Henan Fahea versus Jamaal Jones. You guys might know Henan Fahea. As I said before, he had that fight with Fabricio Verdum, which was a no contest. He technically won, but at the same time, Fabricio Verdum didn't tap, so... Or was it Henan Fahea tapped, I think. Anyway, it was a very confusing situation. He beat Carl Somanatafa, who's tough as nails, by decision, and then he knocked out Stewart Austin. We know Henan Fahea is going to have a very elite ground game. He trains with Team Nogueira. He's also got power in the hands as well, and he does have a great ground game. He's very well-rounded. Jamaal Jones, on the other hand, is a decent wrestler, I guess you could say. He does have good wins on his record. He doesn't have the prettiest record, but he is better than his record states, in my opinion. I'm going to be picking Henan Fahea. This guy's an absolute nightmare for a lot of guys. He's 6'8", 8-inch height advantage, 85-inch reach as well. He's got power on the hands. He's got a very good submission game as well. I will be picking Fahea by KO to beat Jamaal Jones here. Don't count out Jamaal Jones, though. He is probably a lot better than that record states. Ante Delisia versus Matteo Sefo. Ante Delisia had a decent amount of success last year in the PFL. He beat Chandler Cole and Denis Goldstov. But then he ended up coming up short to Bruno Capaldi in the finals. And it's worth noting that that was the finals of PFL last year. And Bruno Capaldi, prior to that, had 13 wins by knockout. This is his only time Bruno Capaldi has ever been to the decision, so I can respect that. Prior to that, his other loss was to Bruno Capaldi. Matteo Sheffield, though, on the other hand, I mean, he fought on the... Oh, sorry, this is the guy. I completely forgot. This is the guy that fought Azamat Murzakanov on the Ultimate Fighter, on Contender Series 6 months ago and then got knocked out in the first round. Yeah, Matteo Sheffield, another example of a light heavyweight fight in the heavyweight division. I don't like this a lot. I think that he should be fighting the light heavyweight PFL division, not the heavyweight. I think Ante Delisia is going to use his a strength, size advantage to his advantage and just beat Matteo Sheffield on this one here. Probably knockout. I mean, he got knocked out by Azamat Murzakanov, who's a 205-pounder. Brendan Lofton versus Ryoji Kudo. Actually not too sure about this one here. That's right. So Ryoji Kudo fought in Shuto, and he actually had a stint in one. But he's coming off a loss to a lesser fighter, in my opinion, than Brendan Lofton. A guy who did make it, I think, once again to the semi-finals last year. Went over Tyler Diamond as well, and went over just a lot of really good fighters. I think that Brendan Lofton is above Ryoji Kudo on this one here, and I think he's going to get the win. Main event. Okay, so this is where things get very interesting because Probably my most confident pick and prop on the card. We're going to go with Bruno Capaldi by knockout. Probably in the first round. Bruno Capaldi. You look at this guy's record. His only loss in like the last 7 years has been to Jiri Prochazka, which is so not 7 years. Yeah, exactly 7 years. And by his wins, he's got 13 wins by KO and 1 win by decision. His 1 win by decision was his last one to Delisia. Stewart Austin, on the other hand, this man takes punches for a living, and it's really sad to see, because out of his losses, 6 of them are by knockout. Out of Bruno Capaldi's wins, 13 of them are by knockout. I don't like Stewart Austin's chance. I don't think he's going to have the chin to take Bruno Capaldi's shots. I mean, no one else really has. Yeah, I can't trust Stewart Austin's chin. Yeah, I think Bruno Capaldi is going to knock this guy out in the first or second round, and I'm very confident in that. So that's my first look at this card. In my opinion, not as good as the first card. I think the first card is just so much better. It's got their newer fighters. It's also been stacked up a lot, I reckon, to get a decent amount of hype behind the season. They haven't really changed up the 265 and 145 pound roster too much. But we've got Jeremy Stephens on the first card, man. We've also got like the last former winners. We've got Anthony Pettis on there. Amari Akhmedov, former UFC fighter. Rob Wilkinson, former UFC fighter. Stevie Ray making his return from retirement. I mean, like, this is a stacked card in my opinion, man. But anyway, I'm going to be picking Capaldi by a lot of confidence to win that fight. So, yeah, I'll see you in the next one.